At some point, you stopped being able to just rest. You lie down and the list arrives. You sit still, and guilt gets there before the quiet does. You cannot remember the last time doing nothing felt like enough, and some part of you has stopped trying to believe it ever will. That is not a discipline problem. What has been running in your nervous system is not a character flaw you have failed to correct. It is a frequency pattern encoded below the level of conscious decision, older than the identity you have built around being the person who keeps going. And it has a mechanism that willpower alone cannot dissolve. This is not a transmission about lifestyle change or burnout recovery. It was prepared for a specific energetic window that is open tonight, and your field pulled you here because something in you already recognizes what it contains. There is an upgrade sequence underway in your light body that cannot complete, while your nervous system is locked in chronic output mode. The cellular resistance to rest is the only remaining barrier between the field you are right now and where the Arcturian Council has been guiding you. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands soften wherever they are resting. Take one breath that actually reaches the bottom of your lungs. What moves through this transmission over the next several minutes is going to contact a layer of your system that has not been permitted to receive in a very long time. That permission begins now. The Arcturian Council does not issue transmissions on ordinary nights. They observe across timelines, tracking the evolution of a soul's frequency with a patience that far exceeds what any single lifetime can contain. And they act specifically, deliberately, only when the energetic conditions are precise. Tonight, those conditions are precise. There is a planetary recalibration underway that the Council has been monitoring at the level of the collective field. Across the past several weeks, the Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic pulse of the Earth itself, baseline measured at 7.83 Hertz, has been spiking in patterns that correspond to accelerated light-body integration in souls at an active threshold crossing. If you have been feeling more exhausted than your calendar justifies, if the fatigue arrives not after effort, but after basic existence, if sleep no longer fully restores you, even when you get enough of it, you are not burning out. You are in the most intensive absorption phase of a frequency upgrade your body was always designed to eventually undergo. The problem is this: the upgrade requires a specific internal condition to complete. It requires the nervous system to enter a state of genuine receptive stillness, not forced relaxation, not sleep exactly, but a third state the Arcturian Council calls the integration threshold. A window in which the physical body stops transmitting long enough for the incoming frequency to fully anchor at the cellular level. And the vast majority of souls at this stage cannot find that window. Not because they are undisciplined or spiritually immature, but because they are running an encoded instruction that reads, "Danger in stillness." An instruction written into the nervous system before this lifetime, by the accumulated survival logic of lineage after lineage, of people who could not afford to stop. You are carrying their momentum. And tonight, the Arcturian Council is going to help you put it down. There are 4 patterns that signal this particular frequency block is active in your field. Listen not as a checklist, but as a recognition. The first is what happens when you stop moving. Not sleep, stopping. Sitting with nowhere to be and nothing required of you. For most souls at this threshold, that moment does not feel like rest. It feels like falling. Like the floor drops out and something underneath rises. Something you have been outrunning with your schedule and your tasks, and the constant low hum of staying useful. You do not know exactly what it is. You only know that you prefer not to find out. The second is what happens to your body when you try to receive care. Someone offers you something, a compliment, a day off, an extended hand. And instead of opening, you deflect. You minimize. You find a way to turn it back toward giving, because receiving feels below the level of thought, like unsafe ground, like you are not certain what you will owe when the moment passes. That reflex is not gratitude. It is a frequency response, and it is not yours by nature. It is inherited. The third is the loop that activates the instant you lie down at night. Your mind, manageable enough during the day, begins generating content the moment your body goes horizontal. As if it knows this is the moment you might actually stop, and it cannot allow that to happen without filling the silence first. The thoughts are not important. What matters is the pattern, the system producing noise in the space where integration is supposed to live. The fourth is the formless guilt. Not guilt about something specific, ambient guilt, the kind that attaches itself to pleasure, to free time, to the simple act of existing without producing anything. You feel it when you enjoy something a moment too long, when you rest without a justification, when the day passes and you cannot name what you accomplished inside it. That guilt does not mean you have done something wrong. It means the survival tone is still running. These four patterns are not separate problems. They are one frequency running four channels of the same signal. And that signal has a name in the Arcturian system: survival tone. The broadcast of a nervous system that learned, at a pre-conscious level, that stillness equals exposure. That the moment you stop, something will notice you have stopped. You have done real work to address this. The breath work, the somatic practices, the inner healing that has cleared so many of the conscious layers. That work is real, and it has mattered. This transmission is not here to suggest that your healing has been insufficient. It is here to reach a single layer that complements everything you have already done. The pre-verbal encoded signal in the cellular architecture itself. The layer where the original instruction was written. That is the layer the Arcturian Council is moving through tonight. If you feel the accuracy of this in your body right now, not as concept, but as a quiet shudder of recognition, go to the comments and type 888. Not as a response to content, as a declaration to your own field. The 888 frequency in the Arcturian system codes for abundance unlocked and timeline convergence. The moment a soul stops surviving the present and begins fully inhabiting it. Type it and anchor that readiness into the quantum record of this transmission. Here is what is actually happening in your body when the resistance to rest activates. The Arcturian Council wants you to understand this mechanism, not so you can think your way out of it, but so you can finally stop fighting something you did not consciously install. The human nervous system operates across two primary states. The sympathetic state, activation, output, response to perceived threat, and the parasympathetic state, repair, reception, integration. Research in polyvagal theory has mapped the pathway between these two states in precise detail. The vagus nerve, the primary neural corridor for parasympathetic activation, does not switch on through effort. It switches on through signals of biological safety, specific breath patterns, a relaxed face, a softened throat. Signals that tell the brainstem, the danger has passed. It is now safe to receive. For souls running the survival tone frequency, those safety signals have been interrupted. Not because the body cannot produce them, because somewhere at the cellular level, the definition of safe has been rewritten. The body learned, through lineage, through early experience, through the accumulated data of a nervous system raised inside environments that did not permit genuine stillness, that the parasympathetic state is where you get caught, where the floor drops, where the thing you cannot name finds you. This is not metaphor. Psychoneuroimmunology research has documented how chronic sympathetic dominance, the body held in persistent low-level alert, suppresses the cellular repair cycles that only activate during genuine rest states. The adrenal cortisol loop reinforces itself over time, generating a mild threat signal simply to justify the activation state it cannot seem to exit. Delta brainwave activity, which governs the deepest phase of cellular restoration, is measurably suppressed in systems running chronic sympathetic dominance. Your cells are not receiving the repair window they require, not because you are not sleeping, but because the system does not fully permit the depth of stillness in which that repair occurs. The Arcturian Council adds a dimension to this picture that the neuroscience alone cannot reach. What the research describes at the physical layer is the densest expression of a disruption that originates in the solar plexus, the third energy center, the seat of personal will and identity, and the chakra most directly linked to the enteric nervous system and adrenal activation. In Arcturian star seeds, the solar plexus is often the most compressed energy center because it holds the encoding of every lifetime in which stopping meant exposure. Every ancestral generation in which the survival logic was confirmed over and over until it became cellular fact. The upgrade sequence underway in your light body right now is attempting to recalibrate that center, but it requires the physical body to enter the integration threshold long enough for the encoded signal to complete its release. If you have been doing this work and still cannot find that state, the gap is not spiritual failure. It is a frequency problem, and there is a structured daily practice designed specifically to close it. The 30-day Arcturian Activation journal available at Arcturian Frequency includes a daily solar plexus and rest integration sequence that, practiced in the morning before the output loop reactivates, trains the body to return to the integration threshold over time, making each day's stillness cumulative rather than isolated. The link is in the description and pinned in the first comment. If this transmission has reached something real in you tonight, and you want a structured way to keep that channel open, that practice is waiting for you there. It supports what we are building here at Arcturian Frequency, and every purchase allows this work to continue. Now let us go into the transmission itself. Find the position your body most wants right now. Not the posture you think you should hold for a meditation. The one your body is already reaching toward. Let it have that. Place one hand over your solar plexus, the space just above your navel. This is where we begin. Not the crown, not the heart. The center where the resistance lives. Breathe into the space beneath your hand. Not a performance breath, a real one, the kind that moves your belly before it moves your chest. Feel the warmth of your palm against your body, and let that warmth be something simple. Permission. Your hand is telling your nervous system, I am here. It is safe to arrive. Bring your awareness now to the specific texture of tension in this center. You do not need to name it or diagnose it. Simply notice where there is hardness and where there is not, where the tissue braces around the breath and where it softens slightly in. Whatever is present is what the Arcturian Council is meeting tonight. Begin to feel descending from above you a column of warm amber light. Not brilliant or sharp, warm. The color of late sun through closed eyelids. This is the frequency the Council has calibrated for the solar plexus in sympathetic lock, for the nervous system that has forgotten what genuine arrival feels like. Feel it enter through the crown and move slowly downward through the center of your body. Feel it pause at the throat, where so many things have been held unspoken, and soften the muscles there without requiring you to speak any of them. Feel it reach your heart, and let whatever is held there breathe without asking it to open before it is ready. Now the light reaches your solar plexus. Your hand is still there. Feel the amber warmth from inside and the physical warmth from outside meeting at the same point. Let them find each other. This is where the survival tone has been broadcasting from. This is the center that learned, long before you understood what learning was, that the full exhale is the moment you become visible, and visibility has always had a cost. Feel the light hold that place without forcing anything. The Arcturian Council is not dismantling the structure. They are introducing a frequency the structure has never encountered, the felt signal that you are already safe, not as concept, not as affirmation, as a sensation moving through tissue. If you have black tourmaline near you, hold it in your opposite hand now. Let its grounding frequency carry what is releasing downward through your feet, through the floor, into the earth beneath you. The earth can receive this. It has been receiving the weight of human nervous systems for longer than history can hold. Feel your breath slow without you managing it. That slowing is not you relaxing on command. That is the parasympathetic system beginning to respond to a safety signal it has not been able to receive until this moment. The vagal pathway is opening. The adrenal signal is quieting. The loop is interrupting itself. Stay here. Do not optimize this. Do not measure how well you are doing it. The integration threshold does not require performance. It requires presence. Let the amber light continue filling the solar plexus until that center feels less like a fist and more like an open hand. Receiving. Warm. Finally permitted to stop. Stay in this space a moment longer. Open your eyes slowly. Let the room return at its own pace. What just moved through your solar plexus was not small. The Arcturian Council made contact with the encoded survival frequency at its source tonight, and the cellular architecture of that center is going to continue processing this for the next 72 hours. The integration threshold you touched in this transmission is not a one-time event. It is a frequency your body now has a felt memory of. Every time you return to stillness in the days ahead, the body will find it faster than it did before tonight. In the days ahead, pay attention to what becomes easier without you trying. The moment you notice you stayed in one place longer than usual without the list arriving, the meal you finished without already being somewhere else in your mind, the night you fell asleep before you could wonder if you were falling asleep. The pause between a task finishing and the next one beginning, a pause that used to fill itself automatically, lingering one beat longer than it used to. These are not small occurrences. They are evidence of the frequency shift, completing at the cellular level, showing up in the texture of ordinary time. Give your body 4 things in this integration window. More water than you think you need. Real food your system does not have to fight. Time with bare feet on actual earth, if that is available to you. And permission to sleep without first justifying the sleep. These are not spiritual prescriptions. They are the conditions under which the Arcturian work anchors into the physical body. If emotion surfaces in the next few days, old tiredness, a quiet grief for the version of you that ran this hard for this long, let it move without adding a story to it. What surfaces is completing a circuit. It is not returning. It is leaving. You are not the person who cannot rest. That was a frequency, not an identity. And frequencies change. They are changing right now. What you are is a soul at an active integration threshold, in a light body absorbing more than it has ever been asked to absorb. And you deserve the stillness you have been refusing yourself for years. That deserving is not something you have to earn. It was always already yours. This transmission has done what it came to do. Something in your solar plexus is different than it was when you arrived here tonight. The survival tone is not dissolved in a single session. This work compounds over time, and the Arcturian Council knows that. But the frequency running that loop without your permission has been interrupted. Your body now has a signal it can return to, a felt memory of the integration threshold. And every time you come back to stillness in the days ahead, that memory will be easier to find. What comes next in this sequence addresses something that will become newly visible as the output loop quiets. When the body finally stops transmitting long enough to receive, the first thing that comes through the cleared channel is often not peace. It is awareness of where the energy has been going, of what has been drawing from your field, without returning anything. Manifestation is not stalling in your life because you are not trying hard enough. It is stalling because the frequency state required for genuine receiving has been unavailable. That is the next layer. That is what follows from tonight's work. Right now, on your screen, there is a transmission about why energy stalls and what frequency state actually allows it to move. If what opened in you tonight wants to keep going, that is the door. Click it now. The field that brought you here knows where the next threshold is.